Welcome. I'm trying. Give me a second. I'm trying to calm my nerves. It's been a long wait. Last week, we disappointed just a smidgen. We were unable to bring Dawn Staley to you. And it pains me to report that this week, just playing, she's here. She's here. So I saw, y'all lighten up. People cussing me out in the chat already. Welcome, everybody. I'm Vera Jones. Welcome to another certified unscripted. We make Tuesdays better than ever. Best thing happens is a Tuesday night right here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Join us every week because we're here. When it comes to women's hoops and a whole bunch of other stuff we didn't know we were going to talk about, this is the place to be. So we welcome your comments. Feel free to pop them in the chat. Recognize we are on 5 different platforms as we speak, and we'll try to get to those questions as much as possible. But in the meantime, we want to hear from the experts, and we have so many of them. And they just come here. They just show up right here on the show, like this one. Penny just made it in traffic, literally popped on 30 seconds ago. Penny told her the general manager, long time, 23 years with the Los Angeles Sparks organization, player, GM, multiple ring-wearing championships, and our guru here on the panel. Welcome, Penny. What's up, and how was traffic in LA?
Hey, well, I tell you what, I wouldn't have made it if I got to my house. You see my background, right? This is actually my office.
It is a little raggedy, a little bit.
I literally ran over from the club that I was in because we had so much construction going on today. You see, the first time ever, I don't have my certified unscripted shirt on. But I was not missing this show with Dawn Staley
Nobody was.
I just said, I'm going to stay here at the office and I'm going to boot up straight from the office, literally.
I love it. Commitment, dedication, commitment. That's how we roll with Certified Unscripted. And you know, Ruthie is always going to be in a car somewhere with her mic clicking. Ruthie, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Ruthie Bolton, the mighty Ruthie Bolton joins us. Olympian and singer extraordinaire. What's up? True to form. Ruthie, you got us?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yes, Ruthie, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I am. Listen, I'm headed to my daughter. She's being inducted. She's not inducted, but she's at her athletic banquet. I actually, so I'm here at her athletic banquet tonight. It's always something, man. I'm telling you, being a parent, being a mom. But anyway, yeah, hey, you know, I'm in the house, so excited. I'm so excited. Hey, I'm driving and looking at you. I'm mighty.
I know. Yeah, but you look fabulous, and I hope your daughter's athletic banquet goes fabulous. I'm sure it will. And thank you, as always. No matter where you are, you figure out a way to hop on the show. The mighty Ruthie Bolton. Over the last couple of weeks, since we've been back into season 2, for those of you that are joining us, we have missed a dear loved one. She goes by just a single utensil that you place on your table. Her name is Teaspoon. We're talking about Teresa Weatherspoon, Hall of Famer, All-American, and New York Liberty legend. Thank you for joining us this year. What brings you by? You know?
Look. I had to be with my fam. I'm like excited to be back, man. Y'all excuse the misses that I've had. But it was a certain reason, y'all. We were trying to do a little something special in those playoffs.
And you did.
But I'm happy to be back, man. Dawn is on this thing. We about to show out, y'all. What up, fam? What up, fam?
What's up, Spoon? Hey, Spoon, you trying to look all cute on the sideline. I saw you.
I ain't look cute worth nothing, y'all. That clothes we get to wear. I don't get to get suited and booted. Man. I was just trying to, stay excited and hyped for the guys, man. It was a tremendous run, a great run for our young crew. We got a real bright future with that group. Real bright future.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's good. We were all supporting you. You got a lot of love in the chat from all of the people that were following.
Yeah. Truly appreciate it.
You got a lot of instant Pelicans fans. So and it's all because of you, I will say. Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate it.
Hey,
last but not least, we got to bring in our executive producer, who I will take back out to make room for kind of a special guest. But your shout out real quick, Rita.
What up, y'all? It's good to have you back, T. Everybody's in the building. Ruthie's still disappearing, so we back to the basics.
We can't keep Ruthie for nothing.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yo, I'll talk to y'all after the show.
All right. Hang in there. We'll be hollering at you. So round the horn real quick before we bring on our special guest. Top of your mind right now, Penny. I know it's hard to think of anything but Dawn Staley, but there's a lot of stuff that happened this week. Anything standing out for you?
Nothing too much. I'm super excited about the show, and I'm gonna say what the fans are probably thinking right now. Can y'all be quiet and get Dawn on? So, yep. I guess that's what's on the mind right now. Okay.
Yes. All right. That's it. Teaspoon. Any thoughts?
I'm like Penny. I want to do what the fans want to do. I want to talk to the lady of the hour.
Yep, and we shall do that just now. Head coach of the 2017-2022 NCAA Women's Basketball Champion South Carolina Gamecocks. In 2022, she had a few things to do, like win the WBCA National Coach of the Year, along with that national championship, the Naismith Coach of the Year, the USBA WA Coach of the Year, and the SEC Coach of the Year. She has won that 5 times now. Multiple Hall of Fame, I can't name them on, honors. Multiple Player of the Year honors as a player at the University of Virginia back in the day. 3-time Olympic gold medalist as a player, 1 time as a coach. National award is now in her name, the Dawn Staley Award, which I proudly get an opportunity to host every year. And definitely one of Philly's finest and favorite. Without further ado, please welcome Dawn Staley. Woohoo!
Hey,
Dawn. Finally.
Let me in.
Finally. Well, we could begin in so many places, Dawn, and we are going to have I'll be popping up a ton of questions for you. But I thought it would be best paying honor and homage to all that you've done this year. What excites you the most? I mean, it's been a whirlwind of a 2022 for you. What excites you the most?
You just heard him, my dog Champ. He's barking. He was quiet until I went live on the show, and now he's bark. I'm excited about women's basketball. Really, not just college basketball, WNBA. Anytime that there's an opportunity to see women out there playing, I'm excited about, because finally we're getting our just due. Yeah. Finally, they're starting to treat us like a sport, because they haven't really treated us like a real sport in quite some time. And I think that our ladies, who are incredibly talented, the coaches around the country are incredibly talented, and then we're on TV where they're giving us the exposure finally to display all the great aspects of our game.
Yep. On the heels of that, already we have because this was on the top of my mind as we were going around the horn. Obviously, this week we heard about the retirement of Vivian Stringer. I think this is an opportunity when you start talking about women's basketball getting its just due. Talk about C-Viv a little bit and what she has meant to the game, being 3 times, taking 3 different teams to the Final Four, and just being an ultimate legend, particularly in women's basketball, but definitely as an African-American woman in basketball. Your thoughts on C-Viv?
One of the black pillar of our game, legendary. To see her, not on the sidelines anymore, means that we're missing part of our history. We grew up. See Vivian Stringer recruited me. Yeah, she was actually the only coach that made me cry during the recruiting process. When I told her I was deciding to go in a different direction, she put it on me. She made me cry. Because it's hard saying no to someone that's been in the game. And I was very young at the time, and I really didn't know what I was saying no to. But now I've been in the game for so long. I said no to a legend. I said no to someone that has had an incredible career, someone that I've lived in the shadow of, and rightfully so, for all that she's done for women's basketball. I don't think we really understand who the game is losing on the sideline. I know, we're going to give her flowers. We're going to tell her how great she was. We're gonna tell her how great she is, and her legacy will live on. But we had her in our game for a long time, and I don't think we've given her what she's meant. Not just Black coaches, all of basketball, all of women's basketball, but certainly, her legacy will live on through all of us who will keep, we'll keep her name in our mouths, and we will keep her name in our, in our game.
Penny and Spoon, I mean, this is a question really for everybody, because I think, to Dawn's point, who has not been touched by Vivian Stringer, right? Your thoughts, Penny?
I echo everything Dawn said. When I saw it a couple of days ago, I was just like, wow, how you think life just goes on and on. And like Dawn said, myself included, how I had to tell Vivian that I wasn't coming to Iowa when she was at Iowa and go someplace else. It's hard to do because she's such an incredible person, but look at the legacy she leaves behind. The only person to take 3 different teams to a Final Four. Like Dawn said, if it wasn't for Vivian, and here's someone that's always led with grace, and with pride and respect and everything she did. And now when she leaves the game, and like we say, we're older now. Like, I'm sure all of us on here will probably say, if we could go back, like knowing what we know now, we all probably would have been in Iowa, or we all would have been at Cheney, or we all would have been at Rutgers, because we understand as adults what it means to play for a Vivian Stringer now. Even though, I still love my coach too, but we do know it probably would have been a different decision, because now we're smarter and we're wiser. And I know Dawn probably can't say this, so all you recruits out there, take it from us. Go to South Carolina.
Right, because you're not going to find too many more.
It does mean something. It does mean something. Okay.
Spoon, you got feelings about Viv?
Yeah, I like everybody said, I'm gonna echo everything that everybody said. But there's one thing that I really, really like about her, love about her, is she would always pull you to the side. She understood that this was bigger than her, and she wanted to continue to pour into all of us and tell us what we must do to continue to lead and continue to bring our own along with us. And that was important to always hear from someone like her and what she's doing and what she's had to go through to do what she's doing. She's helping us to not even have to go through that, to be able to sift through it without even having to go through it, and then being able to give it back to someone else. And when she touched you and looked at you, it's almost as if you knew, I better do this. I better listen, because this lady knows exactly what she's talking about. She understands the journey. She understands the experience, and she's trying to just pour into us for us to pour into others. And you don't find that from very many people. When they experience what they have and what they do, they move on, especially our own color. But she is teaching us how to bring us along. And the game, not women's basketball, but the game will miss who she is. And like Dawn said, we must continue to say her name. We must continue to say her name in all that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. My own memories, I think I covered her entire career as a broadcaster at Rutgers. And I used to love how she would give me the on-camera comment. And then after camp, she would grab me by the arm. She's like, come here, girl, let me tell you what's going on. And she would tell me like the behind the scenes that I could never share. I could never repeat. I'd just be sitting there looking at her like, but I loved her. It was almost like, a auntie, that would pull you inside and be like, now, let me tell you what these kids, the real problem is these kids ain't blah, 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 blah. And she would just let me have it. Right. But on camera, it was perfect every time. So she understood so much about the game. So I love that. Quick comment here too. We didn't get a chance to really even touch on this, but also your thoughts about Brittney Griner, Dawn.
Oh, BG. I think we're getting more and more information about her situation, and the latest is she's been wrongly detained. And since she's wrongly detained, we need to do everything in our power to keep Brittney's name out there. We need to do everything in our power to get our Congress women specifically to raise hell, to bring Brittney home. I know, let me just say this. I know Brittney is built for handling any situation. because as a woman in this game, as a woman who had to endure, you know, all that we have to endure, you got the strength to handle it, you know. Yeah. But as soon as we can get her home, all of us can rest a lot easier knowing that she's in a safe place. She's of sound mind. She's in a place where we can love upon her. She can see her loved ones. Her wife, Sherelle, is graduating this Saturday, and I know if I could be there, I would be there. But we got a graduation with some of our other players. But one of our mutual friends is going to go from South Carolina down to Raleigh to support her in that way. If Brittney can't be there, we're going to stand in the gap for Brittney.
Wow.
All prayers are going out for Brittney for a safe return.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I thought you had additional comments on that. So Dawn, thank you for that. I want to, like I said, there's been so much that has been going on for you. Take us back a little bit. Let us get to know Dawn, the Philly kid coming up, you know, all of that, your entire run to Virginia, your decisions about why you went and played for Debbie Ryan as opposed to all of the places you could have gone. A little bit about, you know, who were your idols and mentors? How can we get to know Dawn a little better? The little Dawn.
The little Dawn. I mean, I grew up in the projects in North Philly. And when you grow up in the projects, you are incredibly resourceful. Obviously, as a young child, I didn't really get a chance to be on the big boy court, so to speak. So I would have to run out when they were down at the other end, shoot, run after my rebound, and get off the court before they come back down. And that's where I got my start. And then if I couldn't play on the big boy court, I had to go outside and play on the tar. You know, you get scraped up. I probably left some cartilage, a lot of cartilage, back on the blacktop in Philly. I played all types of sports. I played basketball, I played baseball, I played softball, I played tackle football. We grew up in this projects where there was like row homes is half of it, and the other half is high rises. But in the middle of the projects was a big field. Like it was called the big field, and it had a softball field, it had a baseball field, it had a basketball court, and then it had just space. We would get a 5-gallon bucket of paint, and Lord knows these lines weren't straight, but we would paint like a track. Like we had like a mini Olympics in the big field. Like we would relay races, full of competitiveness. So that's where I got my competitiveness from, playing with guys. And you know, when you're the only girl playing with guys, their girlfriends used to get mad. Like think I wanted some of this sweaty, stinky, nasty boy. Like they don't. No, I just want the competition. That's it. Fight some people off just to continue to play, you know, because girls back then they were just jealous of any little thing. And so that, you know, one of the young ladies that I fought, you know, we to this day we had such a good time reminiscing, because this was I mean, she was a big this way, that way, and she would just not let it go. I was actually a little scared of her a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But she just kept going on and on, and then finally I just said, I gotta fight you. I gotta fight you. So somehow she kicked me in my mouth, but then I wailed back. I knocked her in her head, right? And her head hit the side of the wall.
Ooh. Like
magically. So I sent her butt to the hospital. And guess what? I heard nothing else from anybody. Hey, that was the grace of God. Because I don't hit her that hard, but I just hit her hard enough to hit that edge of that wall, and she could say no more. So she toughened me up, though. All these things toughened me up to be able to play outside of Philly. You know, I ended up going to Virginia because Virginia started recruiting me when I was in the 8th grade. Virginia and Penn State, the only two schools that started recruiting me when I was in middle school. So that loyalty really stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And I decided to go to Virginia because actually what differentiated the two were the dorms. Like Penn State had the old, you got a roommate, you got to walk down the hall with your bucket to the shower and brush your teeth and do all of that. And Virginia had like suites. You know, you had a roommate, and you had like a suite with there were 4 rooms. You had a roommate, and then you got this flush bathroom, 2 showers, 2 stuff, everything like it was. And I was like, this is it. I didn't check me out. I'm growing up in the projects, and now I'm bougie. I got to have my right. But it was the layout was great. Like, cause both of them, you know, Rennie Portland as well as Debbie Ryan, they did a great job at recruiting me, and only took 2 visits. Only took a visit to Penn State and Virginia, but I told everybody that I was coming because I couldn't tell nobody no. But I just decided to get, and also didn't go to a school that won a national championship. I shouldn't be saying that because now, you know, recruits might be using that against me now that we've won a couple of national championships. But it eluded us in college, so I was glad I was able to be a part of 1 or 2 now, in, you know, coaching.
Got a question here. Who was your favorite player to play with or against, and who was your toughest opponent, either in college or WNBA or wherever? Olympics.
College, I would say the toughest. You know, we had some knockout dragouts in the ACC. Andrea Stinson, you know, Stint, my former teammate with the Sting, and then in the WNBA. These are 2 gnats, man. These are 2. Spoon is on here. Spoon and Debbie Black.
Debbie Black.
Yeah, Debbie
Tasmanian Devil.
Spoon and Debbie, you know, defenders. I mean, Spoon would get up in you, and Debbie would get up under you. You know, that was always a hard guard.
Yeah.
Dawn, you just made me big time, dog. Say it again. Y'all heard her? Everybody heard what Dawn said?
Spoon, what kind of player was Dawn though?
Man, shoot. Just yesterday I looked at some clips of me and Dawn. And that little sucker, you know, I would have to pick her up at half anyway. And Dawn was quick. Dawn was quick, and they ran this little play, and then she always had this down screen. Always got this down screen. She kick it, she go and come off the UCLA cut, and they give her a down screen. So man, I was always sick. I mean, I watched these clips yesterday, Dawn. I mean, boom, I get hit by a screen. This little sucker turns around, boom, it's a jumper. She come off those screens so quick. I had to get into you, Dawn. Dang. If I didn't, you know, Richie might put me on the side. But Dawn was so fast, so smart. Ran her team the way she's doing as a coach with the way she's coaching her teams now. She did it as a player, and it's so obvious to see how well she conducts the show. I knew every time I got ready to play her, oh shit, here goes. Let me get my hat on. Let me be smart. You had to stay solid. When you're playing against a cerebral point guard, you got to be solid. You can't make mistakes. If you do, she got you. It was tough nights every single time. She's so freaking smart, and her teams show that too through the way that she coaches.
Ruthie, you had to play against Dawn.
Oh, Dawn, hold up now. Hey, forgive me. Hey, listen, Dawn, on Matt Hope's, she's inside, probably being called right now on my ear. I said, I cannot miss this. I said, Hope, I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom. Anyway,
lying to the children.
I said, Dawn, Hope, my stomach hurt. I gotta go to the bathroom. She said, I know you're gonna be gone a long time. Anyway, but let me say this. Listen here, Dawn And Dawn, I don't know if you remember. Now, you know I'll shoot when I ain't even open. I'll try to shoot the ball. But listen, it's a million things, but there's one thing that Dawn did. And Dawn, we played. Nell was coaching, and I think I couldn't find the basket. And Dawn, you came over to me and grabbed my shirt. You said, listen, do not look over at her every time you miss a shot. She said, guess what? If I pass you the ball, I want you to shoot, because if you shoot, there's a mighty good chance you're gonna make it. She said, I'm your coach on the court. I was like, okay. And from that point on, I do this. She just grabbed me, and that, because I was worried about Nell, because Nell was jerking me in and out. But Dawn really, at that moment, I knew. I said, man, that was a floor general leader, knowing when to push. And sometimes in transition, I said, Dawn, pass me the ball. She said, no, Ruthie, you ain't open. Don't just stop clapping. She controlled the tempo. She knew when to push. She knew who was hot. And so that, to me, that was just a floor general, and just really one of the greatest, obviously, just what you've done, being a great teammate, and what you continue to do. But yeah, great teammate. And guess what? I was looking through my stuff, and I found from Tara, I found this evaluation in 91. And she said, Ruthie, you're very competitive, hardworking, shoot the ball pretty good. She said, but you need to learn how to penetrate the hole like Dawn Staley. I was like, what? She said, I need to learn how to penetrate like you. I was like, okay, Tara, I'll work on that. But anyway, just an awesome teammate. Yeah, great leader.
What about them coaches from Philly? Tell us about them coaches from Philly.
I mean, you want me to tell you, like, there aren't a whole lot of coaches that are from Philly, like the city Philly. They might have been outside of Philly. Mm-hmm. You know, I know some people think Gino and Muffet are from Philly. They're not. They're from
don't count.
Huh? They outside.
Yeah, outskirts.
They didn't have 215 area code on their phone. They had 484-610.
Suburban.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
on the outskirts.
They're close enough. Enough. I mean, Philly coaches are if you grow up in Philly, if you spend any time in Philly, you'll understand how to navigate through any situation that basketball throws at you. And that's not just the Xing and Oing part of it, but the people. Like the people, you'll be able to work with anybody. Like, because the only thing that we want to do is win. So we're gonna figure out what buttons to push with people, what buttons not to push with people, how to get the best out of everyone. And I think that's a quality of a Philadelphia coach.
I have a question for you, Dawn. Before, I know it's a lot of people out there, but I wanted this question right here.
Wait a minute. Say my name.
Dawn.
That's how you say my name, people. Not Don.
Because I'm from the East Coast, baby. I'm rocking DC. In DC, not Maryland, not Baltimore. I can get down with what you were saying about Philly. The thing that the question I got for you, I remember when I went to a gym and I was like, oh my God, I got to watch all these games. When you first went into coaching, what did you think, looking back now from all that you achieved? When you first went in, what was your thought when you look back now at everything? Because I know it was a lot, but what do you think about when you first went into coaching? What did you say to yourself? Because, playing such a high level and going into coaching, I'm sure you probably were like me. I'm not going to lie to you. When I used to look at college basketball, my first year when I came to the gym, I used to be like, whoa, because I was used to such a fast pace. So what would you say from going into coaching and now looking back?
If I really looked at what coaches had to do, all the things that coaches really have to do, I probably would not have gotten into coaching. So what I did was I treated everything like a huddle. Like I treated meetings like a huddle. I treated everything like I'm the point guard, huddling my team up. And that's what made it seem so natural for me to do that. And some coaches out there, they've learned just from other coaches. For me, I learned from just playing and the feel of the game. Like it's a intuitive feeling. You know how, you got that mother's intuition. Like I've never buried a child, but I think basketball found me in such a way that I just got these instincts that I feel like certain things supposed to happen out there on the floor. Now, I mean, you gotta prepare. Like you gotta prepare to win basketball games. But when games are on the line, it's like I'm a part of it. Like I'm the point guard, whether I'm in the game or whether I'm sitting on the sideline waiting to check in the game. So I'm seeing it from a player standpoint and able to just tell my teammates what needs to happen. And I didn't really have to dummy it down either, like for our players. I mean, I see it very simply, and I'm able to verbalize it very simply. And then I had players who were really receptive to it. When you got people who are receptive to it now, you got to understand when I got into coaching, I was still playing in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, that's instant credit. Like that's they looked at me like I want to be where you are in the summers. So they automatically listened to me. I could have been telling them something totally wrong, but they were just so locked into me because they felt it. They wanted to be where I was for 6 out of the 8 years that I coached at Temple. I was playing. So it was pretty cool that like my players at Temple, they actually were the right players for me getting into coaching because they just really allowed me to be me, just uncensored me. And they just really would run through a wall for me. And I mean, some coaches get into some situations where they're like, "Ooh, why did I do this? Why did I take on this responsibility?" Now, when I went to South Carolina, those first couple of years, I thought it was professional suicide.
Yeah.
It was
oh my God,
a lot different. Like the players that I had, bless their hearts, it was a hobby for them. It was a hobby. Like we got to practice every day. Like, but once we started to turn the program around, they got it. Like they really got it. After they left and graduated and came back, they just, we get it now. We understand what we were trying to do. But at the time, they were like, "This lady's crazy." Like,
yeah.
Why should I do all this?
I want to say something real quick, Dawn, about instincts. Do you remember the World Championship in Germany when we were down by 15 and a half and we end up coming back? Do you remember that far back in 98?
Well,
okay, listen, I'll tell you.
How y'all remember all?
We were down by 15 and a half, and I think me, you, and Lisa scored 16 straight points, us three, because we had this triangle, and either Lisa scored inside, or I scored, or you scored. Ask Carol Callan, because what you did, you went against the grain. That moment, like the Russians were beating us. We couldn't figure it out. But you knew you scored, you open, or I was open, or Lisa was. And to me, your instincts, that word described you, your instincts was incredibly good. And at times I want your instincts to be more.
Who was the coach? Who was the coach, Ruthie?
Nell Fortner.
Oh, okay.
That's all she got for that. That's all I got.
I know.
Congratulations, Dawn, on your honorary doctorate degree you're receiving on Thursday. See, our fans know what we don't know. Alpha Alexander's in the know. So congratulations. And also the audience, please vote for you for the Olympic Hall of Fame. You've already knocked out all the other Hall of Fame. So this, what would that honor mean to you on top of all the other accolades that you've collected?
I mean, I've never really been like selfishly wanted anything besides like Hall of Fame statuses. For real, like nothing else moved me. Not even like Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, none of that. I wanted to be a Hall of Famer, like Naismith in particular, because that's where all the greats go. But now that I've checked off the Naismith, heck, why not? Why not? Like, I like Hall of Fame status because you are one of the greatest.
Yeah.
You are considered one of the greatest when you are in any kind of Hall of Fame
record books.
When you're recognized as a Hall of Famer. So yes, I don't mind doing that, but I would like for our 1996 team to go in.
Yeah. Talk about, we had a couple of questions about that 96 team. I mean, golly, who all was on there? Jennifer Azzi, Lisa Leslie, the whole crew, right? You had a ton of folks. Can you talk about that 96 team and what that experience meant and how it kind of changed the whole, I mean, it was a transition moment because the very next year, the WNBA got kicked off and everybody was on that team, ended up going into the WNBA. So just kind of talk about how important that team was.
Well, the 95-96 national team, that's before we were named the Olympic team. I thought we were the guinea pigs of
the W.
Of what can become of a professional league in the States. They put a lot of money into our team to travel and to train and to be together for a year and to be under Tara Vanderveer's leadership. Now we often talk about what took place during that year. I mean, Ruthie was the favorite. So
yeah, Ruthie, someone put that in the comments that was Ruthie the favorite.
No,
Ruthie's experience is unlike everybody else's. Like, everybody else got put through the ringer.
Yeah.
Everybody else. Teresa Edwards got the worst of it.
Okay.
Katrina McClain didn't care about nothing, so you weren't gonna mess with her equilibrium. Who else? No, actually, sorry. Rebecca Lobo got the worst of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. B got the worst of it. Then was T. Well, it's probably a tie between the two. And then for me, my experience was I was actually straight Philly. Like I used to say stuff to Tara, that she probably had ever heard from a player. Tara used to cheat for whatever team Ruthie was on.
No.
Okay.
Are you lying?
I'm serious. So she cheated us bad one time, like bad. We were in Australia. Like Ruthie's team. Now I'm mad because I like to win.
Right.
So one time Ruthie team was up probably like 9. And it's about, I don't know, a couple seconds left in the scrimmage. And I was like, man, bunk this. I said, y'all, let's just go run this sprint. Let's
I remember that.
With time left on the clock.
Oh.
I got my whole crew on the line ready to run this sprint because I lost, right? And then she was like, well, who do you think you are? You're going to play it all the way through, blah, 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 blah. So we ended up having to play the 12 seconds left. And then we had to run. So as we're running, I'm like, well, just like Ruthie. You can't be cheating. We out here trying to win. I mean, I said some choice words to Tara Vanderveer. It was just the Philly in me because it was blatant. Ruthie will deny it.
Yeah.
You gotta know. You gotta admit it, Ruthie. No. It wasn't. She didn't let me. Hey, Dawn. She didn't let me get away with a lot. I think she might have. Me and Tara connected maybe on the mental aspect of it because she. Oh. I think Tara. You know Tara personality. Dawn, I would listen and sit and talk to Tara, and hear her out about things. I think she just I was sort of a landing zone for her thoughts, emotions, but I don't think she played favoritism on me. Hey, Dawn, but listen, you
just like her favorite, huh, Dawn? Just like her favorite. Just like her favorite, taking up for it right now, Dawn.
Yeah, don't go away from it. Don't stay in that, Ruthie. Don't leave it. Don't leave it.
How is your relationship with
Ruthie
Tara
falling
now?
on the sword for it. You falling on the sword for it, Ruthie?
I love Tara. like I did.
Oh yeah, she
I
liked
love,
Tara. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I loved Tara back then. I think what Tara did during that whole training period was this is what she did, and she was pretty smart for doing this. She was the sacrificial lamb. Like she made all of us dislike her, so we as a team could get closer.
Wow, that's some psychology.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So she did exactly that, and it was masterful because we were together for such a long time, and I thought Tara felt the weight and the pressure of the future of women's basketball, along with winning the gold medal in the Atlanta Games. But she felt the pressure for an entire year, knowing that what was going to come about after the Olympics, and also playing in our home country on the biggest stage. So I have to give her credit for knowing how to handle that situation, because things did not have to be as hard as she made them. But because they were so hard, everything was so easy once we got to the Olympic Games. Like, it was easy. No team came closer than 18.
Well, speaking of pressure, Dawn, to follow that up, and not to cut people off, but speaking of pressure, you had the pressure, and it was funny because we were talking in my office the other day, because I work with a lot of sports people now, even though I'd be killing them. Let me get on the record saying that. But speaking of pressure, you having the pressure, when somebody here says something to me, oh, is Dawn the first African-American coach, black coach, the coach Olympics? I said, no, actually she wasn't. John Thompson was. Unfortunately, he didn't win, the gold. What type of pressure was that? Because when I look back on it, and being on the committee and working with you with that, is interesting, because talk a little bit about, did you feel that pressure? And what a lot of people don't know is, just like last summer before you went to the Olympics and you played the WNBA team and they won that game, I was saying to people, and I said on the show, Vera and Spoon, you guys remember, the Orange team is the only team that ever faced WNBA players. Yeah. Before that, they were facing college players. And you guys didn't even have no practice time. But what type of pressure was that to go, and you never coached a WNBA team in your life, and here you are with the best of the best, the cream of brulee. You know, what was that pressure like for you? And that had to be a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like this. Like we ended up playing that WNBA All-Star team, and they were playing for something. They were playing for it should be us. It should be us that comprises, what is the Olympic team. That's one. So we lost that game, and then we ended up, losing to Australia the next night. Like we lost back to back, right? The time, those days after those back-to-back losses, I felt something like I was stressed. And I don't really get stressed. It's basketball, but the weight of you being the first female black coach, us losing 2 games is something that had ever been done, I think, since I don't know how long ago.
1914. Well, go ahead. No, I'm just joking on that. But go ahead.
Right? So I didn't eat. I couldn't sleep. It was like I was drinking coffee all day. But I was just occupied with figuring it out. Like I had to figure it out. So this is what I did though. So we didn't have very much practice. So I was kind of utilizing those games to see, where we needed to go, how we need to maneuver, navigate through having it was like we had maybe 4 new players that wasn't part of the core group, and I wanted to see what these young players were all about. Diana Taurasi, wasn't playing, and I was trying to see what younger players were going to be able to lean on at any given point, and I just had bad substitution patterns. Like really, it was just bad trying to figure it out. And then I just felt like we got to win games now. Like I got to go to my intuition. I got to put the people out there that I feel is going to help us just win basketball games. But the pressure's real. And
I can imagine.
I got that same feeling during like the medal rounds, like the quarterfinals. Like you lose the quarterfinals, you don't get the medal rounds.
Yeah.
Right.
And once you get to the medal rounds, it's the semifinals. It's like, yo, what we came here for.
Right.
And then the finals playing Japan in Japan.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been any worse. With COVID. So it was just, but it was a relief. It was a relief. Once it was over,
that's how Champ feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got this question a lot. So I wanted to go back for a minute because obviously that was also my question too, is just about just watching you there in the Olympics and just everything that you all pulled off with all the doubters and the haters and the questions. Huge. So let's go back. You finished the Olympics as a player in '96. You choose the ABL. Dion Hoop says, sorry, Penny. Sorry, Spoon. Sorry, Lucy, but the ABL had the better talent. I'm not an instigator. I just want to know, is that true?
Oh, I mean.
Come on, Dawn.
Tell the truth, Dawn.
Listen. Spoon and them know. Penny, you know. Come on.
I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you.
Top to bottom, the ABL was the most competitive league between 96 and 98.
You know what I always say when people ask me that question?
What's that?
This is my answer. And this is how I feel about it now, even with Athletes Unlimited. I'm just happy that they had two leagues that were here in the United States. Because when you had to go overseas and play for so long, I didn't care if I was playing in the ABA or the WNBA. And that's the thing that I think people need to get away from, even when they start trying to say, oh, the NBA and WNBA. As a female player that had to go overseas for 10 years, ABA, ABC, I would have took it. You know what I'm saying? It could have been the ABC league. So it's not about what was better. It was nice to have options.
Yeah,
because if you ask WNBA player, they're gonna say WNBA. You ask ABL, they're gonna say ABL. But for me, I look at it like, God Almighty, thank God we got options.
Yeah.
So
I think we'd all do that. I think I'd be just like Dawn. I'd be like, come on, Dawn. You know it was us. Because I do the same thing. But when you really look at it, the greatest part is we had two leagues. But then the greatest thing that happened was when we all came together.
Yes.
When we all came together, it's like, world, y'all in trouble. Now you're going to see what women's basketball really is about and how competitive we are. And we're just as freaking good as anybody else who plays this game. We didn't just see ourselves as female basketball players. We saw ourselves as basketball players. We are professional basketball players. But when it came together, look out, world. Look out. Then you see what's happened. You see what's happened.
And I definitely think the ABL, I will give this credit, even though I was overseas when they were playing most of the time, the ABL made the WNBA come correct. You know,
That's
because
true.
they were doing it. The players had a lot of input. And Athletes Unlimited is trying to do that now. But the ABL, you guys had a lot of input. But it made the WNBA say, we got to be perfect or close to perfect.
And that's what it's all about, is creating competition.
Yes.
I'm going to tell y'all this. Like, ESPN does not have enough competition when it comes to our sport. College basketball, WNBA, you know, if we open this thing up to other networks, it will put the pressure on ESPN to come more correct than they are. Like the NCAA and the WNBA, they sign bad deals. They signed.
Talk about unscripted.
Say it, Dawn.
They signed bad deals. We're at a point now where the WNBA, you see how many people are getting cut? Like first round is lottery. It's tight. It's tight with talent. Like we're at an all-time high when it comes to talent. We need other networks that step up. I promise you, you will get a return on your investment like you wouldn't believe. And then and then the players, they could be very similar to the NBA, where you get shares of that. You get shares of that TV
revenue, yeah.
Revenue.
Yeah.
Just like the NCAA, like men's basketball. You know, they get units. So all that money that they collect from all those sponsors, they get a check back to every team that participates in the NCAA tournament.
That's right.
You know what we get? We get maybe a check to pay for, our what it cost us to go to the tournament each round.
Wow.
When we're talking about women's basketball getting units, money back, then will we be treated a little bit differently than what we're treated, because they'll constantly say we're a non-revenue producing sport. We produce revenue. If you allow us, if you invest, we will produce revenue. But when you put us with the 88 other championships, and you give us a certain amount of money, yes, it's going to cost to put on each championship. But if you take women's basketball away from those championships, I do think we can stand on our own, and we could probably help those other Olympic sports put on their championships. So I know they're not going to like me for saying that, but I'm only calling it like I see it.
And this was one of the best Final Fours ever. And I've only been in women's basketball. I mean, where are you going to get 3 championship coaches all in one Final Four? Louisville versus you. I mean, Tara Vanderbilt. Isn't she the second as winning coach in men's or women behind Krzyzewski, I believe, right now? And then you had Gino Auriemma. I mean, when you look in the stands, this was the first time I ever seen the stands like full, and everybody was watching it. I mean, I don't know who wasn't watching it, because I was watching it because I like to watch it, but I mean, Twitter, Instagram, everything was on blowing up, because everybody was like, oh my God. That's another thing you got to tip your hat to too, is that you got to beat all of them in 1 year. You beat Balky, you beat Tar, and you beat Gino. Yeah. 3 of the most powerful coaches in the game. So you always know, I was like, oh, doing it, I mean, when did you get the opportunity to see that in one season with all these great coaches going against each other? And I can truly say this was definitely a road to the championship was tough, Right. I even thought Gino did a good job to bounce back from all his injuries to get to the championship game.
Yep.
Dawn, I have to say this, where you are and what you've done with this program, you've done a tremendous job. But what people don't see and don't know is you started this thing from ground up. You talked about earlier that they saw this thing as a hobby. What did you have to do to strategize to get the investment in that women's sport there in South Carolina, to get the players that you needed to be successful?
This is what we did when we first got to South Carolina. Through all of our losing seasons, we cornered the market in our own state. And we did not know that South Carolina had some of the best talent in the nation, not just our state. We didn't know Asia Wilson. We had no idea Asia Wilson was there. We had no idea Lisa Welch was there. We had no idea that Tiffany Mitchell was in our backyard. Yeah. So we cornered the state, and now we're at a place where all of those coaches we have relationships with all around this state, if they have a player that has any bit of talent, they're calling, come see, we got somebody in our backyard. And we know that there are probably a lot of talent here in South Carolina that won't be able to play for us just because we're pretty talented. But they understand that now, and they could take those conversations a lot better than if we didn't have those relationships with. Yeah. And then, for me, I just meet players where they are. Like I see them where they are. Some of them are, some of them come here not very confident. So we're gonna meet you where you're confident. Then we're gonna take you to getting to a good place and hopefully take you to where you want to go. Yeah. And we're non-judgmental. We just, if you want to make it to the pros, that's my expertise. Like I think that's what I bring to the game, because that's my experience. If you want me to tutor you in organic chemistry, I can't do that. Can't do that.
Why not?
Tutor, though.
Yeah.
All right, so let's speak to your coaching a little bit. Ballers Page is questioning, why didn't NECA make the USA team?
Why did NECA make the USA team? Now, it's a committee that picks the team, and I'm going to tell you what I said to the committee, okay? Because a lot of people don't know, and this is uncensored. You know, nobody. I don't think I've ever told anybody this besides
first time.
Yeah.
Fellow committee members, because I'm on a committee right now. So here's what we were faced with, okay? And we had Diana Taurasi, who wasn't healthy, right? When we all got together, she was healthy when she was playing when we picked the team, okay? She was unhealthy when the team had to come together to travel, right? We got Sue, who Sue's gonna practice no matter what, but sometimes she steps in and out of practice because, you know, there's a lot of tread on those tires. There's not a lot of tread left on those tires when it comes to that, and we had to protect the fact that we needed her leadership and her ability to run the show, right? So if we did not have, let's just say it's a bad day for both of them, and we didn't have them, right? As we're trying to prep for the Olympics. NECA was not healthy at the time, and we didn't know when NECA was going to get healthy. It could have been like right when we got to Japan, so we didn't know. So we were talking to her trainers with the Sparks. So I said, we're going to need healthy players that's able to play and practice like right now, because we may not have two players that are available to practice. So that was my thing. If NECA's healthy, NECA's on the team, like without a doubt. Like there's no question that she would have been on the team. And I know it's a lot of controversy. NECA is the sweetest, the most professional, you know, all of that. Now, when the team was named, I did text NECA. I texted her and I just told her, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it ended up this way. And nobody really knows that as well. And I know she was hurt because she's worked so hard to be a part of an Olympic team, a USA Olympic team. So it was just the makeup of the team at the time and what we had to do in preparation for winning the gold medal.
You know what that story sounds like too? Because I got a question after this. It's funny because I know LaTanya Pollard, one of Long Beach State's great, you know, the only Long Beach State player to win the Wade Trophy. I know she was left off the Olympic team too, sort of when Pat Head was coaching. And Pat, I heard that when I asked LaTanya about it, it was something where Pat was like, I'm not taking a wounded soldier into war. You know, that was something, that's the way that Pat put it. But not to switch subjects on it. I'm glad you gave us that input. But I do want one question because I know time is getting down. And I want to hear this question right here. And that's the advantage I got of all you guys out there that's in the portal. Tell me what you think about, because I think it's crazy, all these people getting in the portal. It's almost like free agency with these kids. It's like, I remember when I went to Europe the first year, I hated it. I said, I saw Asia Wilson say, oh, I was going to transfer after my first year. I'm glad I stuck it out. She said, I hated South Carolina and Dawn. But
Mama wasn't having it.
What is it that making these kids, it's like you made a commitment, but it's so many people in the portal. It's like a free agency without being a free agency.
It is.
I would just include in the portal.
It really is, Penny. Like I know you had your end of the year meetings when you the general manager. I felt just like that at the end of our season. I knew that there were going to be some players on our team to jump in the portal, because they didn't make an impact like they wanted to make. They didn't get enough playing time. And I was really thankful that they sacrificed and we got a championship out of it, but I also knew that, hey, we could lose a third of our team like we did. So I think the portal gives the players an opportunity to control their own destiny. Okay. Mm-hmm. And in the process, which I don't mind that, but in the process, I think they are making it actional. Like it's a transaction. It's becoming a transaction. And when you make something a transaction, you as coaches, you almost have to take your heart out of it.
Oh,
and
wow.
Here, because your heart will break. Because there are some players that get in that portal that it's not the best decision for them. Staying where you played for a year or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, how many it is, it's hurtful. It's hurtful because you put your time, your effort, your energy into it, and you don't want it to be I don't want it to be transactional. I'm gonna tell you that if it comes down to me having to put my heart over here every year, I love basketball. I do. I love basketball. I love the pure and the innocence of it. But it's becoming, a business, which it is a business. I make a whole lot of money. I get it. I get where the players are coming from and wanting to elevate themselves. But I also know that you got to do your research. Like you got to weigh whether or not staying with your team and knowing the knowns versus going somewhere else and there's an unknown. Coaches, we're going to say what we need to say to secure players. Whether you got room for them or not, you're going to go to the next great player that's out there in the portal to help your team win. Those players have to make sure that those coaches can deliver on what it is that they're looking for.
And I can tell you as a GM, I want to say if any players are in here looking, because, you look at Adia, she went to the championship, and then I think 8 of her players are in the portal this year. And then I know Brittney Freed's best 2 players are in the portal. Gino got somebody in the portal. Everybody's in the portal. But I do think somebody needs to point out to these players, and I'm not trying to tell no player don't leave. I just think they have to realize that commitment means something at the next level. And I'm saying this to them as a GM for 20 years, and I like this player, and I'm glad she slimmed down and stuck with Vegas last year. But when the knock on Destiny Slocum, just to use her as an example, people want to know, okay, why are you moving around? Because at some point up here, we're like, do they have an attitude? Do they not get along with their players? When we see players that jump from team to team to team to team to team. Mm-hmm. And you also miss out on trying to create a legacy. Nothing is easy. And this is the thing that I say, being at my age, looking back at some of these players, I'm like, where's that commitment that you made? And I'm not, like I say, some players, okay, leave, but not the amount that we're seeing. And then getting bad advice that I see a lot of players are saying, hey, I'm WNBA ready, and you're not.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. Here's the thing. See all those players that got cut today.
Yeah.
They're gonna put a lot more pressure on us as coaches, because you got players. I got a team full of players who feel like they're gonna be WNBA players, and they see, a Crystal Dangerfield.
Dangerfield, yeah.
Rookie of the year 2 years ago. That's not on the roster right now. So it's hard. Like it's hard. Like it's truly hard to make a WNBA team.
Yes.
Now more than ever. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a trickle down effect on everybody. It's a trickle down effect from the league on down, and then it's trickle up effect on collegiate players leaving, thinking they increase their chances to getting into the league. So yeah. I don't see an end to it. I don't. I think this is what it is. This is a part of how college basketball is going to be. And then you toss in the NIL stuff that is throwing everybody all off.
Yeah.
And that's why I wouldn't come in. Like I said in the article that I put on Instagram, if nobody has talked to your coach about you, there's no way I'm coming in, because the reality of it is I saw some players coming to the draft. When I saw 108 underclassmen or people declaring for the draft, I'm like, wait a minute. They're not even that. That's enough to build a whole nother WNBA. So I know you're not making it. I think people need to start getting some real sounding boards, because some of those players is going to get cut. Overseas is dried up at the moment because of COVID. You know, unfortunately, with the Brittney situation, I wouldn't go nowhere near Russia, who is one of the high-paying teams, right? But my thing of it is, people have to get a clue, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I had made them name some of those younger players, I would have stayed in college, because their likeness would have brought them more money than let's just face it, more money than the first rookie WNBA contract. There's no way I'm leaving. And I'm gonna tell you, like what you said, Dawn, college is so pure, and that's what I like about it. And you're right, it's becoming like the WNBA. And I want to say to those players out there, think again, because when you get up here, it's strictly business. Well, we're going to say, like they're saying to some of you guys, we don't want you. At the WNBA, we're going to say, we don't want you. And can get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Quick question, Dawn. A quick question about, before this one gets away, just talk a little bit about your incoming recruits at South Carolina. That's where the innocent still lies, at least having freshmen come in.
Our incoming freshmen?
Yeah.
We actually got two, and two South Carolina natives. One is Talasia Cooper, who is a lone guard. She's about 6'1". You know what stands out to me, I know a lot of people think she can score a whole lot of points, but she has incredible court vision. She can absolutely pass the ball, and she's truly unselfish, and we need to get better in that area for our team. And then we got Ashlyn Watkins. Ashlyn Watkins she's been dunking since she was in the 7th grade.
Yeah. Wow.
Super athletic. She is. I don't even think she actually has touched on. Like she's a stretch four without a shot right now. Like she hasn't shot it in high school, but we're gonna force her to shoot it, because she can shoot it. She can rebound and push the ball down the floor. She's a shot blocker, a rim protector. I'm excited to see her both of them make the transition from high school to college. And we know that's not always a smooth transition.
Sure.
But we got enough experienced players that's going to help smooth out that transition for them.
It's been another question that came up, and that I was actually dying to ask you as well. I saw an article in the Washington Post that was talking about, were you a better player or coach? In your own mind, are you a better player or coach? Tell us the truth.
I think I'm a better coach. Seriously. Okay. I'm a better coach because I can touch more people. Like I can touch more bodies. As a player, you really just get your teammates. You know, you just get them, right? As a coach, I can touch my current players. I can touch actually players who I recruit that don't come to South Carolina. So my impact is further than just contained to one team.
Right. Getting a lot of questions. Everybody that ever comes on the show, we always ask them whether they're ready to answer or not. It doesn't matter. We ask them, who are your top 5 players of all time? Hoopballer Scoop wants to know. He's calling out Cheryl Miller, or she's calling out Cheryl Miller, Teresa Edwards.
Well, he better put Lisa's name on there, or Dawn gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then I got another follow-up question. We've been getting a ton of questions. I'm trying to get as many as possible and get them out there. Ton of questions about Candace Parker, why she didn't make the team. What do you think about what she did with Chicago? Blah, 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 blah. But this one first, give me your top 5.
By position or just in general? Just
in general.
Just in general, whether you played against them or not, just of all time, if you had to pick 5, your road dogs, Dawn. If you're going into battle, across the decades, who's rolling with you, your top 5 that we're winning this next?
Yeah, Lisa Leslie, Teresa,
Teresa Edwards,
Cheryl Swoops.
Mm-hmm.
It's Katrina McClain.
Katrina McClain. There you go. Okay. You got 4. You can pick one more.
I'll come off the bench, Dawn. I'll come off the bench.
Yeah, this is who I'm gonna go with. I'm actually gonna go with Sue with them. Sue Bird as point guard.
I was gonna say Sue
Bird as your point guard. Okay.
I was thinking that.
Is she if you had to, I'm guessing since you put her on that team, you're a point guard coach, you're a point guard mentality. Is that your all-time greatest point guard in women's hoops?
All-time greatest?
Yeah, well, you better go to the street, Dawn. You better go back to the street. I'm gonna tell you, if they ask any of us that question, you should say, "I'm the all-time best." So you better, I'm gonna help you out. Go back to the street.
There's some Philly in you right now, Dawn. What that Philly at?
Right, go ahead. Tell the truth. I'm the all-time greatest point guard.
Listen, I'm not going to include myself in that. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to include myself. I mean, Sue's a 5-time Olympian. Like I work with her. I see her. Like honestly, and she helped win me a gold medal as a coach. So I gotta pay homage to her. And no, I don't think people really understand Sue and what she brings to the table. Here's what happened. Like I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about this. When Sue wasn't with us, in our Olympic training, she would make sure that she had the video playbook, right? So we had, this was this year, like this past Olympic Games. When she comes to camp, she knows it all. Like she knows everything. Like I didn't have to. The first time that I implemented our plays, right? Sue got it. You didn't have to repeat it. I didn't have to repeat it. I didn't have to, take time out to say, hey, this is this. Sue was like, oh, this, go here, go there, go there. So she made my life a lot easier and smoother as a coach because just her mind, she's a cheat code. She's a cheat code when it comes to being a point guard. So I'm gonna give it to Sue.
All right. Well said. And last quick question about Candace Parker. Your thoughts overall? What happened with the league this year in the WNBA? But also there was a question relating to her not making the team. Well, the Olympic team. Sorry.
Yeah, the Olympic team. Here's the thing with Candace Parker not making the Olympic team. I think as someone that has been through the whole selection process in comprising an Olympic team, you got a preference. You got a preference. And you have people that aren't preferences for you. And that's basically it. I believe Gino had a preference. And I don't think Candace was a part of it. It's no different than for me if I have, the team that I have, right? You got players I have players on our bench that could start, right?
Right.
You're putting a 5 together. I got a preference in who I want to start. And it's, for me, it's as simple as that. For other people, it's probably other underlying stuff that comes with all of that. So it comes down to preference to me. And then, Candace is one of the smartest individuals ever, for what she does on the court, for what she's doing off the court. There's no surprise. I think the basketball guys repaid her for all the things that she had to endure throughout the last couple of years. and gave her a championship.
Right. For those of you out there that are wondering, yes, we had a question about whether or not you can vote to get Dawn Staley into the Olympic Hall of Fame on top of the 467 other Hall of Fame inductions she has received to date. So make sure you support our girl Dawn. Go ahead and yes, you can just Google on the website Olympic voting, Hall of Fame voting, and you should be able to find it. Who's winning the W? Who's winning the WNBA championship? Who do you like?
God.
All of you. Actually, we went through, but we didn't get Spoon last week. So Spoon,
you might have to give me another week.
Okay.
Let me check it really good first.
Okay.
Yeah, you need some time, Spoon. Yeah.
What you got, Dawn?
Who I got winning it? I got so many players in the league now. If I pick one over the other,
good point.
so I'm gonna go with somebody that's not that don't have any of our players.
Okay.
I mean the Sparks got better. They got better.
Yeah, they got better.
Okay.
They got better. I'm gonna go with the Sparks.
Okay. All right. Going with the Sparks. You heard it here. We're gonna have to bring you back at season's end to see whether or not you played the role of guru in predicting this and getting it right. Dawn, we have never, and I can honestly say this, we get great following every week. We've got some awesome people who come back week after week after week. This thing practically blew up. I had to jump up. It looked like my computer it started smoking. I was like, geez, oh flip, what's happening? So many people love you, Dawn. I am one of them. I always just never tell you that. I think I do it my own way as I roast you from year to year at the banquet. But you have so many people that, there was a great little poem that was written called Little Eyes Are Watching. And it was just a poem that I've always loved about the young people. You just never know what young person is out there with their little eyes, just watching what you say and watching what you do. And you have so many people, except those little eyes are grown ass people like me, right? That are going, oh, Dawn, look what she's doing now. So, and I know that I speak for a lot of people out here that what you've done for women's basketball, as much as we all love Vivian Stringer and what she's done, you're that next generation, next level of little eyes watching. So we just salute you and feel honored that you came on our show tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dawn, you know, when I saw you in Vegas over the summer and I asked you about coming on the show, you said, girl, and I know we were stressed because we had just lost, the game. But we went in the hospital coming on. You was like, let me go get this goal first. And as soon as I get that goal, I promise you I'm coming on. So I appreciate you, holding you to your word, and just know that we as a team certified and unscripted are so proud of you.
Yes,
supportive of anything that you do, and we look up to you, and we just we're just really proud of you because you're making the culture proud, you're making us proud, overall. So thank you so much for my texts, everything, just keeping in touch.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
Dawn, before you go, I want to say one thing though, because I don't want Vera to go off the show without me saying this, because I think this is important what I'm about to say. And I want to say this to people, and the thing I always loved about Dawn is Dawn always stayed the around the way girl. What you see is what you get, and that's what I always loved about you. Because for you to go out and accomplish all the big things you done, that when you gave us your word that you would come on our show, you came on our show. So I'm definitely appreciative. One thing I can say, you have never changed. No matter all the Hall of Fame, no matter whatever. You're still the around the way girl.
No matter the big paychecks, go around the way girl.
I said congratulations. You was like, I said, girl, I bet you got that. So you said, Penny, yeah, I'm at Chick-fil-A. I don't know if you know that. And we were laughing about that this girl just won a gold medal first black coach, and we were talking about Chick-fil-A afterwards. I just want to say thank you for being you, because thank you for taking the time out to come on our show, and this helps us a lot, and everybody loves it, and we love you, like what everybody says. So I just want to say, thanks for being that around the way girl,
Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Hey, Dawn, You know, the things you've done. We all know what you've done in the game. We know what you've done in this game. But what I like a hell of a lot about you is what you're doing outside of the game. And these young people are watching you being an advocate. They're seeing you doing more than just coaching the game of basketball, but you're about life on the outside. And they get an opportunity to see that. So that gives them something greater to follow. That I love about you, and I thank you for that. And I also thank you for in the Hall of Fame. I was nervous as hell. And I walk into Dawn, and Dawn said, sign this. I start signing. She said, you better put HOF on this thing, because I wasn't going to do it. But Dawn said, put HOF on this thing. I started doing that. But it's just how you approach people, how you make people feel. You know, you just being you, just being solid and never changing, keeping your feet planted. And that's a great thing for all of us to see. And just know this, in all that you do, everything that you do, and especially them slippers that you in, I want a pair too. I want my feet to feel like your feet. I'm watching everything you do. We love you. We're behind you, and we're pushing you. We're for you. Keep grinding, Don. Keep grinding. It's yours. It's yours. And if I ever called your name wrong, damn it, I'm still gonna call it wrong.
Don't.
We love you, man. We love you. We love you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
Love y'all, man. Love y'all. Appreciate that. I missed my flight last week. I thought I was gonna get to San Francisco in enough time, but I missed my flight, so I had to go a little bit later. So I didn't want people to think I wasn't gonna be on the show, but I made up for it. I made up for it today.
Big time.
There you go.
I don't want to end on a bad note, but we were supposed to give you that chance to speak on to go ahead and ruffle some feathers if you want to, because we're gonna ruffle them with you, to speak on the whole thing in the locker room, not coming out with the national anthem and all of that. You want to air that out real quick?
I actually do. The semifinals game when we played Louisville in the Final Four. I really didn't even know what time the anthem was going to be played. It was played at the 12 o'clock mark, and our pregame ritual is we're in the locker room during that time. I don't even think our guy that usually keeps us abreast with that really knew when it was. So, you know, we win the game, and then Saturday sometime in between the semis and the national championship game, this article came out stating that we're protesting the flag, and they did this all season long, and just this this article that had a lot of just falsehoods in it. So all the untruths in it. And then I read it, and I'm looking under the comments, and we're called everything but a child of God. Like, and I know our players saw it.
Yeah.
And I know, we had a senator here that went on Facebook and just really blasted us for an untruth. Like, you're reading an untruth. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't address it because sometimes people are in your life to be a distraction. They are for distracting you for accomplishing what you need to accomplish. So I said, Lord God, I just and I'm pretty quick with it. I'm pretty quick with responding to things, but I just said, peace, be still. You got fish to fry right now. Okay, so when we won, I just had to address it because it was so wrong of the reporter to air that. And I heard this reporter was actually like Instagram living the press conferences, mine and whoever else, the other coaches. And when they got to the part where I was addressing this, they stopped.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
They stopped recording.
30.
But I just think I think journalists, they have a responsibility. Yep. Okay, you have a responsibility to report truths, and you're supposed to research the things that you're out there putting in the atmosphere.
Right.
And this young lady did not do that. And it wasn't the first time that something like this took place. So it's becoming, it's becoming routine for this to happen. And maybe it's me, maybe it's our team, maybe it's the maker of our team. I don't know, but you lead me to assume that you really don't respect what we're doing out here. You don't respect our players. If you're going to put that out there, to be, to clickbait.
Right. There you go.
That's it right there, the clickbait.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just saying, our players, did they protest in 2020? Yes, they did protest the national anthem. They sat, some of them sat, some of them stood, some of them kneeled. But that was 2 years ago.
Along with everybody else that they didn't write about.
The
other 100,000.
So if you had that in question, because she was at the press conference, all of them. So if you wanted to quote, if you wanted the real truth around it, you would ask the question. Everybody else was asking all different types of questions. So for her to do that, for me, I lost all respect for her. Like I'm not even going to address it anymore. I'm not going to address her questions anymore until she's able to apologize to our players. You don't have to apologize to me, but you should apologize to our players for that position during the biggest stage of their lives at that point.
Yeah.
We started this whole program when we brought you on, and I just, how things are cyclical. I thought about what Vivian Stringer went through back in the day with what was Don Imus, right? And the comment about nappy-headed whatever, right? Which was crazy, and how she had to defend her team and how she had to stand up. And for whatever reason, just listening to you when this first kicked off and listening to you talk tonight, came on the show talking about a legend and all that not just what she accomplished on the court, but what she had to endure off of it and to stand up for her players, particularly her predominantly Black players. And you are in South Carolina. Let's just call it what it is. I was a country radio DJ in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I know it well, as the Confederate flag would fly over the State House regularly every single day. And I understand what you are enduring in terms of the social aspects, let's call it what it is, the racism that still exists. And you've gone in as a Philly girl into South Carolina, not Brooklyn, not, Delaware even, to South Carolina, and have started a dynasty and unified people of all walks to come together. Of all of the things you've done, Dawn, that is the one that keeps me in absolute awe. And I applaud you for that. We applaud you for that. Continue to just keep winning, because that ain't easy to do in Yeehaw Nation. It's not. So I'm just saying, I had to be a country radio DJ this month. So yeehaw, I know what I'm talking about. I'm qualified. So that's that. So happy birthday. Shout out. Happy birthday, girl. You turn 51 or 2 tomorrow.
52.
I'm in the upper room.
5'2" tomorrow. How you celebrating?
Huh? I'm here with my boy Champ. I'm not doing much.
Where is Champ? Is Champ gonna get some love on the show or what? Where you at, Champ?
Hey, still talking.
Champ.
Champ heard his name and turned his speech up.
Got to see Champ live. That's awesome. You all have been great. All of our folks, Facebook, 4 or 5 platforms there, and YouTube, all the platforms there. Thank you so much for coming in, welcoming Dawn Staley, the great Dawn Staley, to our show. Continue to support us. Continue to tweet and tell all your friends to tell a friend. We will have more great guests. I don't know if they can quite touch my Dawnie Poo. However, just know that we are happy to have you, and we'll be back talking more hoops and more of everything that you're coming here for. So just know that when it comes to women's hoops, oops, boss, you want to say something? Sorry.
No, I'm letting you go because you in your zone. I'm letting you go with it.
All right. When it comes to women's hoops, we're not true to this. No, we're not new to this. We're true to this. We are certified.
Unscripted.
Thank you, Dawn. Love you guys. See you.